Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Ordinary Guys Bourbon. Today on the program, a guy who's anything but ordinary. You know this guy, Chris Corne. Chris,
Hey,
welcome back.
Thanks, Mickey.
How you doing? Chris, season 3. Right, a lot of stuff we're doing that we're trying out new boundaries. Right, we're really trying to hone in on what our subscribers want. Right, and I'll tell you one thing that I really want is to understand these two gems right in front of us. Right, so we're gonna skip some of the normal commentary. Okay. We're gonna jump in, but today we're doing a head-to-head comparison. Right,
excited for that.
So two bourbons. We'll get there. We'll get there. So today we've got Jim Beam White Label, a $13 bottle. That's how much I paid for it.
Outstanding.
And Jack Daniels Old No. 7 whiskey, which I paid $19 for.
Okay.
Right? Pricey. So here's some information here. Jim Beam White Label Bourbon, Jack Daniels Old No. 7 Tennessee whiskey. Those two labels are affixed to over 31.6 million cases, or around 284 billion bottles of American whiskey annually. That's a lot of booze.
That's a ton.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of booze.
But interestingly, Jim Beam and Jack Daniels rank number 6 and number 7 in terms of global whiskey brands by volume, according to Forbes, and not limited to the American whiskey category. Or do they? Right. So according to Forbes, the world's best-selling whiskeys are, number 1 is McDowell's No. 1 by United Spirits, and its source country is India, with sales of approximately 32 million cases a year. Royal Stag by Pernod Ricard, also from India, sales are 31 million cases annually.
Okay.
Imperial Blue by Pernod Ricard, also from India, 22 million cases. Johnny Walker by Diageo, from Scotland, obviously, 21 million cases.
Okay.
Officer's Choice by Allied Blenders, from India.
I've heard of one of them.
21 million cases. And then you got Jim Beam, that's Suntory brand, right? 17.5 million cases. And Jack Daniels by Brown-Forman, 14 million cases. So 4 out of the 5 whiskey brands ranked above Jim and Jack on annual volume are from India.
Do you think it was they were higher up in that list maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, before the brown liquid craze really took off?
Well, hold on. We'll get there, right? Because 4 out of those 5 are Indian whiskeys. Okay. And what you ask is an Indian whiskey? Well, they're primarily molasses-derived alcohols. So they're not really even whiskey at all. They're rum-inspired neutral spirits with added flavor and color. So under U.S. and European Union regulations, they cannot actually be sold as whiskeys here.
Yeah.
But they're still on the list. Johnny Walker was number 4 on the list, but also that's a little misleading. Just like diehard Chevy truck people will get mad every year when Ford releases annual sales volumes and continues to claim that the Ford F-Series is the best-selling pickup in the nation for 49 years running now.
Okay.
But if you look at just the sales volume of Johnny Walker's flagship Red Label, Johnny would fall way behind Jim and Jack. It's estimated that Red Label only accounts for about half of the annual volume under the Walker name. So that would drop Johnny Walker down to about 10.5 million cases.
Okay.
And so with Indian whiskey disqualified and Johnny Walker using fuzzy math to generate their sales volumes, we're back with Jim Beam, White Label, and Jack Daniels Old No. 7 as the number 1 and number 2 whiskeys in the world.
Okay.
So let's talk about these two. Chris Stapleton will tell us that Tennessee whiskey is as sweet as strawberry wine and as warm as a glass of brandy. But what really is the difference, and how will they stack up head-to-head in the Ordinary Guys Bourbon scoring system? So Jim Beam White Label. The distilling lineage dates back to 1795. Current master distillers are Fred No, 7th generation Beam family, and his son Freddie No, 8th generation. It was first introduced sometime between 1935 and 1943, but after Prohibition. Okay. Mash bill 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. 80 proof, aged 4 years. Jack Daniels Old No. 7, distilling lineage dates back to 1866. Current master distillers is Chris Fletcher, whose grandfather, Frank Frog Bobo, was also a master distiller. It was first introduced sometime around 1877, but production did stop in 1910 due to state prohibition, and didn't resume until 1938, 5 years after national prohibition had ended. Mash bill is 80% corn, so a little bit more corn. 12% barley, a little bit heavier on the barley, and 8% rye. Proof is 80 and aged 4 to 5 years. So technically, this is where it gets controversial. Under U.S. federal law, Jack Daniels could be, maybe, classified and labeled the bourbon. It checks all the boxes. It's at least 51% corn. It's aged in new charred oak barrels, no additives, but they filter the whiskey through the maple charcoal before aging, the obligatory Lincoln County process that allows it to be classified also as a Tennessee whiskey, and they've chosen to call it a Tennessee whiskey. People will debate whether this step is flavor additive or just a mellowing process. The North American Free Trade Agreement and the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which doesn't have a catchy name, explicitly classifies Tennessee whiskey as a straight bourbon, though.
Okay.
So under federal law, straight bourbon.
Do they both have age statements?
So the Jim Beam is said to be 4 years, and the Jack Daniels is said to be aged 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, these are just two staples of, if you're a country and Western music fan, you're going to have some of this or some of that. You're going to have someone with a shirt that says Jim Beam, or you're going to have someone with a shirt that says something about number 7. Maybe the words have been altered, right? Ooh, Luke Bryan, number 7 concert or something, whatever.
Okay.
But this is what we've got. I mean, what are your thoughts?
So you can go in about any establishment and have your choice of one of these two.
That's right.
Everywhere.
Yep.
You go to just a standard wedding reception or some type of party. These are going to be on the bar as a well, or even a slightly better.
100%.
I don't put either of them on my bar.
No?
No.
Are you just too bougie?
No. Bougie, no.
I mean, $13.
Yeah. I am cost conscious when I buy.
Yeah. Well,
whiskey.
your favorite is the white.
I like Edwin Williams Bottle and Bond, a white label with the green letters.
Mm-hmm.
It's priced very similar to this,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy it more. I think it has a better flavor.
Okay.
So I don't buy these.
Yeah.
That place at the bar is taken by the Evan.
So okay.
You know.
But from a cost standpoint, what is a fifth of Evan Williams green and white label cost? Bottle and Bond.
I bet you can be getting it for under 15.
Okay. So I was surprised that the Jack Daniels was pricier than the Jim Beam. Right? Jack Daniels, I think 19, and this was $13.99 for the Jim Beam. $13.99. Jack Daniels $90.
Okay.
But still, I mean, I've talked long on the show about Jim Beam Black being one of my staples. I like the mellow flavor of it, and it's at the $26 price point.
Yeah, I think there's some really good expressions in the Jim Beam line and in the Jack Daniels line.
You're talking about the Jim Beam Apple?
No, like the Jim Beam Black, for instance. Or I don't even know what the label was called, but the Jack Daniels with the special bottles and like a blue label.
Okay.
Like a single barrel product they had.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. But it was also $60 a bottle.
Right, that's right, That's right. They both have gotten very much into different flavorings, and you've got the cinnamon flavored versions, you've got the apple, I think there's a peach.
Yeah, I will select any bourbon-based cinnamon product if I'm looking for that over the Fireball every single time.
Really?
I don't care whose it is. To me, I like them all better than I like Fireball.
My son has, I think it's actually like a mouthwash dispenser, right? And I don't know if this is still in use, but he had it like on the fridge, and it was just full of Fireball. And you just take a cup, and it like recognized that the cup was underneath the dispenser, and it would fill up your little thing with Fireball, and then put the cup back. He also buy Fireball by the keg. They sell it in a little keg. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah. Who'd have thought? Yeah. To be 23.
Right.
So anyways, that's what we've got. The history is very comparable between the two, right? Really, this just comes down, I think, to flavor. I mean, the prices are both in that lower price point. I don't think anyone can argue whether it's $13.99, whether it's $90. That's still in a mellow corn price range, right? Mm-hmm. And people will argue about, is the charcoal, the maple wood charcoal that the Jack Daniels is filtered through, is that a flavor additive? Should that really disqualify it as a bourbon? Should it not? Is Tennessee whiskey better because of that process than the sweetness that that bourbon has, right? Usually there's a little more of a sugar, sweet flavor in bourbon compared to like a Scotch, right? So like, it really, I think, just comes down to how do they stack up on taste?
Yeah.
And this is not like, we've got no cocktail, no special cocktail in this episode. These are both our cocktails, right?
Okay.
And so like, a lot of people do the Jack and Coke. I was big on Jack and Diet for a while, right? But twist of lime. The Diet Coke lime just made the process simpler, right? So I think it's just, which one do you prefer? Let's get after it.
Let's go.
So I'm gonna go with
right.
the Jack first, which is this one. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. It's a whiskey. But it's not harsh at all.
No, when we sat it for a few minutes, these are on the rocks. It was rocks when we poured it, and melted down a bit. So it's
Yeah,
the hug quite isn't there. 'Cause
that's right.
It's whiskey and
Which
water
is
at
good.
this point.
Which is good. I don't really care for the hug too much. And then I'm getting in with the Jim.
All right.
I'm going to try to score without being biased. Okay? But here's how
You
we're
know what? That's kind of like scoring is biasing. I don't know if you can accomplish.
Yeah, well, no, I'm gonna try to be like, I know which one I prefer, right? But I'm trying to be right down the line and use our scoring system. Let's get into this. The scoring is gonna be a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
I think for each category, we'll go and give a score for each product, and we'll declare one a winner or a loser or a neutral.
Okay.
Right? So heritage, I'm gonna pull up my little cheat sheet here. Again, the Jack Daniels distillery, the lineage dates back to 1866, and it was first introduced 1877-ish, but they did have a 28-year pause, elongated pause, right, because of state prohibition in Tennessee, and then even after national prohibition ended, another 5 years beyond that. I don't know why, right? So 28-year gap where they didn't distill, whereas the jimbeam distillery dates back to 1795. Super interesting history there, right? But this specific product wasn't released until after prohibition.
Yeah, I don't know if you could actually honestly not give both of these the highest scores possible on heritage. It is the basis of American bourbon. But, I mean, how do you say that heritage isn't there? You know,
But I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
So I'm going 15-15
Yeah.
with a neutral between the two. I'm going to skip taste and drinkability. We're going to bring that last, right?
All right.
Affordability, maximum 20, right? $14, $19. I mean,
Yeah, they're all obviously one's more affordable than the other, and you do have a category that we didn't discuss in the past. So this is truly just affordability.
yeah. I think because Jim is sub 15, I'm going to give it one more point, right? So I'm going to give Jim a 20. I'm going to give Jack a 19 with the edge towards Jim. That's me.
Yeah, it's a simple.
What did I say, 19 and 20?
Yeah.
Then you're here, Matt. Availability, I mean, you can, like you pointed out, these are staples. It's 15, 15, 15, right? Design of the bottles. I mean, everything about the design is similar. I mean, they got the writing on the embossed on the bottle here. They got the what do you call this?
Fluting?
Fluting, right? They're both, I mean, is there anything that differentiates these two? Did you really just go down to the label?
Just a slight ratio change, right? This one's a little bit taller. in the volume, or I'm shorter. This one's a little taller. Get a little more hand action right there. I don't.
Like if you're really like knocking it, like you had a hard day.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I mean, you've never passed a bottle around
I have.
even of these two.
Yes, I have. I don't know. I like the Jim Beam bottle better. I like the label better. It's got more color, right? This is just black and white. This has the cream color, the red, the gold, the black. I like it a little more. I like the James Beam signature, right? None genuine without my signature, right there on the front. But
All right. Yeah, I like the timelessness of the
yeah,
Jack Daniels. And I do like the slightly higher rise on the neck. They're just standard.
I'm going
So,
8 and 8.
I think you're scoring there a little higher than I'm going to, but there's going to be just about a point difference between the two.
Which one are you giving an edge to?
That's going to be the Jack.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if it was the same bottle in 1800s, or was it a slightly different bottle? I don't know. Or was it a clay bottle?
Be interested to know. I mean,
I didn't do that part of the research.
understood.
My bad.
all right.
Here it comes down to taste and drinkability, maximum
This is
40.
where we're head to head.
This is where we're head to head. Hey, this is a tough one.
You know, I thought it was going to be tough for me. When I poured it, I'm like, God. I've never had them on the same session, like, hey, at the house. Like, I don't keep them on my bar, so it's not like I'll pour one, then pour the other. Go into a wedding, you find out, okay, that's what they got. They got Jack Daniels, and then that's what is poured all night when you keep coming up. So this literally is the first time I've said I've participated in a head-to-head, and I was actually surprised on what I chose.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Pause this for a second. Matt, do you have your phone available? Can you just Google what is the oldest registered distillery in the United States?
What's the DSP number?
Tennessee 1.
Let's see.
But this is the oldest registered distillery in the United States. I'm reading that part of the thing right there.
Jack Daniels.
I think it's impossible.
Of course. It's the first distillery to be registered with the U.S. government. Located at Cave Spring, Colorado.
So maybe that's it. The first one registered,
Correct.
right? But not necessarily the first distillery that's been in continuous operation.
Well, it wasn't continuous, but even so, like,
Good point. 28 years.
yeah. I know that.
So
it was
you-
like DSP number 4 was Eagle, or it was the Owl. What's that? Not
Huh?
the brand. That's Owl.
Kentucky Owl?
Kentucky Owl. They're
Okay.
like DSP 4 or 6. They're in the single digits.
Okay.
And they're still. I don't even believe to this day that they're making their own juice.
No, but there are distilleries like,
Are we gonna?
and maybe the distillery has changed, right? But like Elijah Craig has been distilling for an awfully long time, right? But I was going to say Buffalo Trace. I mean that goes back to OFC, right?
1775.
So okay, so on the bottle, and according to Google Gemini, right, oldest distillery, the first distillery registered, but not the oldest distillery. You know, I mean, that irritates me.
So
But you know, some of the bourbon brands and whiskey brands, they've got this convoluted, trail of fake news, right, and fake lineage, right, and like
there's not a damn fake thing about this.
there's nothing fake about it at all. But that statement is misleading, I think, right? It's not the oldest distillery in the United States. It may be in the first registered distillery with the federal government in the United States.
I got you. Like the physical location where they're producing at today is
Not the oldest,
Gotcha.
right? You know what I mean? But
Well, it's like,
But the history is-
cornerstone from one building was moved over. They consider it still the.
But the
same
history
old building.
is undeniable for both of these products. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you
we
know,
haven't talked about the number we gave.
this
really,
isn't
but
Frank August.
The heritage is the heritage. Whether it's the oldest or not the oldest, it's not going to change my score.
So let's get to the taste and drinkability.
Okay.
Maximum 40.
Gotcha.
You were saying you thought it was going to be harder, but there's a clear winner for you.
There is.
Really? A
Yes.
clear winner?
Yep. So we've talked in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I check, like you said, you did Diet Coke in the past with
Yep.
Jack. I do Diet Coke with my bourbon on the daily. That's what I drink. And so drinking these two, I guess this was on the rocks, but now it's whiskey and water. The sweetness of the Jack Daniels really showed up, and it's almost like it's a damn cocktail compared to this one. To
The sweetness?
yeah, it's clearly a feature that I tasted in the Jack Daniels that wasn't in the Jim Beam. So drinking it in this method, the Jack Daniels was a clear winner to me.
See, and I was thinking, first of all, I was surprised that I enjoyed both of them as much as I did. I didn't expect to, right? I thought they'd be very...
And that's where your channel differs, David. Okay? We're just sitting here saying, do we enjoy this?
That's right. Ordinary Guys.
And we're not talking about, the Kentucky Owl that I brought to your house, before was...
I don't remember you bringing Kentucky Owl on.
Well, it's...
Okay.
It's a story.
Okay.
But whether you like something else better, that's not the discussion for today.
No, it's not.
It's not. And we're comparing these two head to head. If you can't enjoy or say, hey, I can't drink that, I guess we're not the same people.
I like
this is Ordinary Guys Bourbon.
That's right.
This is the two most ordinary guy bourbon you're ever going to find. I'm really glad you picked these two for the head-to-head versus two expressions that, you got to go. One of them you can only buy in Kentucky, and another one you can only buy if you get to the Northeast.
That's right.
Or whatever.
And we've done a lot more of that this season, unfortunately.
This is right in the wheelhouse, David, and I'm thank you for inviting me on this. What does this mean? I'm going to put it on my bar? No, there's things I still like more than these. But compared head to head, I was surprised that the Jack Daniels, because I've been on all the little bourbon trail trips, and what makes bourbon and the rules, and damn, I just like the Jack Daniels better today.
You know what, Alex, I'm close. I lean more toward the Jim Beam, but not by much. I didn't expect on taste and drinkability for me to score this in the 30 range, right, out of a scale of 40. I was thinking going in, I haven't had Jack Daniels probably in 25 years. I haven't had Jim Beam White probably in 20 years. Because you get in these rabbit holes of you're chasing a bourbon here, you're collecting a bourbon here, right? You're looking for some stuff that's a little more eccentric,
Yeah.
right? So I just haven't had them. But I thought, to me, and I don't know if this was the mellowing process, right? But from the Jack Daniels, I thought it was a little bit more mellow than the Jim Beam was, and I thought the Jim Beam, although it was also tasted stronger, I think the Jim Beam also had a little bit more. It was stronger, but it also had a little bit more like sweetness and bite to it. I know that doesn't make sense, right?
Okay.
That's just how but here's the thing. I totaled up my scores already. I gave Jack a 28. I gave Jim a 30. Okay. So while you're doing your math, you don't have to pay attention to me. This is for the audience, I guess. Normally when we do a review, we end up with scores that are in the 60s. I think the highest one we've done so far this season was maybe a 72, 74 range. And again, I've recorded a couple episodes this season. I'm kind of mixing them up when they come out. But I scored overall Jack an 85 on our scoring system. I scored Jim an overall 88. And I don't think I've ever had 80s on a review that we've done. We like the second episode of the season was a Baumburgers, Michters or Michters, depending on how you pronounce it. Mm-hmm. And that was a delicious bourbon. Hard to find, but delicious bourbon. And I think that scored a 72, I think, for me. And these are both in the 80s. Now, our scoring system is a little bit skewed on things, right?
The heritage blew it out.
Well, heritage, affordability, availability, I mean, all those things are like slam dunks, right? So, what did you get overall?
So, very close. Jack Daniels 1, and it was primarily on the bottle design here.
Yep.
And then I thought head-to-head the flavor was, or the taste was better. So I have 72 on the Jack, 69 on the Jim Beam. So I'm below midpoint.
But 3-point spread for you. I've got a 3-point spread on mine.
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty of the channel.
Though, right?
That's the beauty of the channel.
Yeah.
Right? So if you wanted to sum up like I normally do, I do the average. They're still tied.
Yeah. Now, if I was making a cocktail, would I rather have 100 proof? Yes. These are gonna struggle. There's reasons why these aren't on my bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But right now, I could never say, hey, oh no. You ever been like you fly into someplace and they have very, very limited selection? Like you're trying to get the hotel, the hotel with something, and you're like, holy crap, there's not much selection. I would not have a problem picking either of these to be like, hey, I've got a couple nights here in this hotel.
When you're buying your liquor at a Circle K or a Casey's.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, been there.
Yeah. Who hasn't? Well, sorry, it's common.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hesitate. It's not a knock that it's not on my home bar. You know that it's a shit product, because it's not. It's just what I don't know where you were on the taste and drinkability. I'm below midpoint, but just barely. 19 on the Jack and 16.
I was 28 and 30.
Okay, so higher.
Yeah, I thought they were both great.
Now, can it stand up in a different concoction?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if I want to do a head-to-head. Like this seems to be a good head-to-head. I think like a Buffalo Trace, Elijah Craig would be a good head-to-head, right? I'm not sure we want to do head-to-heads, but this is something that I wanted to try, right? Because let us know in the comments. Look at that,
right.
Engaging the audience, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good?
That's right. I mean, to come to the table with two drastically different products and do a head-to-head, that's just that just won't help anybody.
Well, listen, this was the episode. We're all set now. We said this is a short format one, but there was a lot of discussion here.
Yeah.
But I think this was good. Thanks for being on the program. Until next time, from Ordinary Guys Bourbon, cheers.
So